Okay, today we have Baruch Hashem in the 222, many people that signed up. So in the two mitzvahs that we have today is actually the two mitzvahs in this week's parsha. The two mitzvahs in this week's parsha is a mitzvah of shechita and eating of the Coren Pesach. What's the reason for it? So if you join the other videos, you'll find out that the idea of shechitas Coren Pesach and the eating of Coren Pesach is to remember Yetzias Mitzrayim B'leilos. To remember Yetzias Mitzrayim. So the Baal Shem Tov HaKadosh asked, why is there so many times you're mentioning Yetzias Mitzrayim, what is that all about? And there's a beautiful piece, Kedai, to read every word so slow, and in the Siva Shalom his words are gold, where he explains at length a contradiction. On the one hand, we find in this week's parasha that Moshe Rabbeinu was told to go and warn Paroi. Why? Because I made his heart very, very heavy. So of course the kasha is, what do you mean? If you made his heart heavy, so he doesn't have any bechira, he doesn't have any choice anymore, so what are you warning him for? And Taka the Rambam says that Paroi at this point, it was all over. He closed the doors. Of course, according to the Rambam, it's difficult if you close the doors, so why is Moshe Rabbeinu warning? Rashi clearly learns that there's some room to still do tshuva, and the Rambam seems to say there's no room anymore. So the Nesiv Shalom says there's no real machlekes. Everyone agrees, al pi teva, based on nature, too late. But shaloi al pi teva, to pull yourself out of the worst places, there's a concept called the val yidach mimenu nidach. God says, I never will want to discard a neshama from being connected to me. Just sometimes based on nature, the way the world works, a person closes the doors. But shaloi al pi teva, a person could pull himself out. Says the Nesiv Shalom, based on the Baal Shem Tov, and based on the Rishis Chachma, the Rebbeinu Shel Olam says, Kol ma sheyomer lecha ba'al habayis aseh chutz mitzeh. This is a Gemara Masechus Pesachim. Usually what that means is the following. You're coming to someone's house, they can tell you anything you have to do. Except one thing. They can't tell you to leave. So there's a whole discussion what that means. But the simple understanding is, a ba'al habayis, you have to listen to everything he says, except for tzei. Kol ma sheyomer lecha chutz mitzeh. Says the Rishis Chachma, Api Chasidus, the Baal Habayis is a Rebbeinu Shalom. You could listen to everything that he says. Of course, you should listen to everything Hashem says, but not when he says leave. When he says, I don't want to be connected to you anymore, that's only Api Teva. Shalal Api Teva, you should know, and deep down inside, of course, you should know, our neshama should know that we could always return. And that's, of course, the pshat with the famous Acher, Elisha ben Avuya, who went off the derech. He left Judaism. He said things that are heresy. And the voice came out from heaven and said that everyone could return. Shuvu banim shovevim. We're holding right now in shovevim, except for Acher. The mistake was that he listened. It's true. Acher, the other one, he can't return. Based on nature. But Elisha ben Avuya, the real Elisha, always could return. Yetzias Mitzrayim is exactly that message. Yetzias Mitzrayim was a time where we sank into the 49 levels of Tuman Al Pi Teva. It was impossible. But Shalal Pi Teva, based on the Emunah, that we know that we could pull ourselves out, that's how we came out. And that's why we mention Yetzias Mitzrayim all the time. To remind us that it doesn't matter how deep we've fallen, Shalal Pi Teva, we could pull ourselves out. Have an amazing day.